Hey everyone, it's Peter Arcari and happy to be here again this week for helping you with empowerment mindset, setting a goal, reaching a goal, and overcoming the hurdles that come up in the way that stop you from getting your goal. And a lot of these hurdles are internal hurdles that are like shame, guilt, just not believing in yourself, low self-esteem, low confidence, and some of them are external hurdles, getting the resources that you need, the support that you need, the encouragement, and even the guidance, like the teaching on if the goal is even achievable or worth your time. So this week we're going to be talking about motivation. I have it. So my screen, just so you know, is like way down here compared to where you are. So when I look at you, I'm looking like there's your face there. Okay. So getting and keeping motivated, you can see that going along the bottom of the screen. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click this invite button here, which seems to not be working. And I would love to invite people to join into the live class with me so that we can do live coaching, because that's kind of the intention of this, is to answer your questions live on the screen. But I'm letting you know that right now there is an issue with the invite button for some silly reason. So if I say share, nothing's happening. If I say invite, nothing's happening. The way to actually have you on the screen with me is if in this software called StreamYard, you can see right there, I have to send out a StreamYard link, which at this point doesn't exist. So definitely if you're watching in Facebook or in YouTube, your comments should come through into the stream here with me. And at least that way I can answer your questions live. Okay. Otherwise, we're just going to move forward for the next hour on talking about getting motivated and things that stop you from being motivated. Okay. Now that said, what I'm doing is, while you're watching, because this is a live stream, and this is something you just kind of have to get used to when you're watching live streams, is people have to kind of look at the stream, and it's something that I've just had to accept about myself doing these live streams. So I'm just going into the live stream right now in each of these channels, just to make sure that any comments do come up. Oh, that's me talking to me. That any comments that do come up, at least I know for sure that they are coming through to me so I can reply to them. That's very important that I get your comments and questions. And if nobody's asking, then I just move through, like I said. So, and if anybody's watching this in the replay, there's going to be a replay of this as it is every week. And in the replay, I'm multitasking if you can't tell. In the replay, you just know that you can skip the first couple of minutes of this just to get to the point where we're past the startup phase of the broadcast and into talking about content, which is just a few seconds from now anyway. Okay. And I can see some messages are coming through, so I apologize if I have to look away from the screen, but it's just the way it is. I'm online, but see nothing on Facebook. So let's just take care of a couple technical issues before we get started. I am live now. I'm getting messages come through literally on my cell phone, just letting me know. So I'm going to share this live. Yes, I am on Facebook actually, and copy link. And bear with me. And right now, what's on your mind? Right now, post. See if you can find that. The life of live broadcasting. So what I'm going to do is I see that I'm having some tech difficulties, but again, here's the thing about live streaming. See, some of the technical difficulties, you can't actually test this in advance. So, I wouldn't even know that this invite button was broken on this broadcast until after I started it. So it's kind of one of those things. And now I have to be in a situation of deciding if I'm canceling the broadcast in this moment. And here's the thing. Okay, look, I'm a pretty energetically aware and sensitive guy. And I do truly believe that everything happens to help us. Okay. So even when something is holding us back and it stops us from being motivated, if we take a look at why is something happening? And some people believe that it's like the universe testing us and testing our motivation to get to a goal. And I believe that it's actually ourselves. I believe that we are testing ourselves. I don't believe that the universe is really setting up blocks for us. I believe that it's the opposite. I believe that the universe is only giving us things that are helping us to understand the blocks that we're creating. So a lot of the blocks that we are trying to overcome, we are only experience that block because something exists within us from our past that's making us doubt. And the universe creates signs or experiences for us to become aware of what our blocks are. That's a very different thing from the universe creating things to test us or to put a stumbling block or to test our resolve or to test our motivation, to test our commitment. It's not testing. It's more like if I already have inside of me something that's going to stop me from achieving my goal, I believe that experiences in life happen only to show us that we already have that block inside of us. I'm pretty effing motivated on getting this live thing working right now. And I believe that this whole example of this technical glitch of me not being able to see people and people not being able to see me right now, I believe that's happening because it's showing me what my level of commitment was to battle testing this. And it's showing me where I need to be putting my focus to making this be the best it can possibly be. So for me, this is all happening right now so that I can make the best possible version of this. So I'm just taking a look right now to see how it is that anybody is seeing me or not seeing me online. And I do see that there are some people that are joining in, which means people are actually starting to find me, which is great. And another thing for anybody that's watching this live or watching the replay later is Facebook does not allow for me to stream this to my personal Facebook page and see your comments. So this has to actually be streamed to a business page. So a Facebook page, not a Facebook account. So anybody that's logging into my Facebook account can't actually watch the live because I have to broadcast it to my Facebook business page. And then in the Facebook business page, whatever comments you're posting there actually do show up into the stream. And that's really what I want, is to be able to feature your comments and reply to them on screen, which is why I'm using this software, StreamYard. So please definitely send through some comments or some questions, and we'll see if they pop up. As for the live stream, I'm going to do one last thing to see if I can get this thing going. Because the invite, the share, I mean, all these things are just pretty much locked up at this point. And, oh, well, that's not going to help me at all. I'm actually pretty tempted to start and stop it just to see if that will get you guys in, because there are people. Hey everyone, yeah, thanks for the likes. That is starting to come through into the stream. Please type a message if you can see me and you can hear me right now, which is literally 15 seconds from right now, because you have a delay. Type something in and let me know what you hear. Just say hi. Don't just put a like, because I don't actually see that where I am in my studio. I need to see a comment. So please just type a comment. Hey everyone, type a comment so I can see it come into where I am live, because there is a technical glitch that's stopping you from joining into the live broadcast, like literally here on the screen with me. It's only doing it. There you go. Okay. Hey, Miriam, and hi, Lydia. Watching you, looking forward to listening to your talk. Me too. I'm looking forward to listening to me talk about this and get over these technical glitches. So post a comment. So I'm just going to type this out for you right now. There's a glitch stopping me from inviting you into the studio live with me. Please type all questions and comments. Okay. Boop. All right, there that is. That went back out into the world. Okay. All right, great. So just because I don't want to waste anybody's time, let's get going about this. Let's do the best we can with what we got, okay? So staying motivated. Like literally, this is what we're talking about this week, is staying motivated. And all of the things that come up. Okay, so first and foremost, we talked about 2 weeks ago, we talked about setting goals. Last week, we talked about resources. So here I am, I'm making use of the best I can with what I got in the moment. So the thing is that the key part of motivation is we have to take a look at what our goal is, but as we talked about last week, what is the real reason why I'm moving towards this goal? What am I really trying to get out of this experience that I'm in right now? And a lot of times when we create a goal, the goal that we're creating is not fully aligned with what we really want, what we really love, and what we really enjoy. So when we create a goal that we understand what the true reason why we're moving towards that goal, we're going to say a lot more motivated. So I want to read something out to you from an actual study. So this is research that was done on why people procrastinate, why they just won't even move towards a goal at all, or while they're moving towards their goal, why they stop. And this is where they, in my words, lose motivation to fight their way through it. Okay. So I consider losing motivation to be procrastinating is something that kind of falls into the same line. So here, based on this study, while moving towards a goal, it becomes too boring. This is like top 7 answers, okay, kind of thing. Boring, frustrating, difficult. Kind of interesting, frustrating and difficult. So I think frustrating is something that's kind of an internal interpretation of what you're going through. And I think that whether or not it's difficult is like a lack of education, like I'm missing an understanding of how to do this. So it's currently too difficult. Ambiguous. Wow, this is a result okay, so if somebody's procrastinating because the thing that they're trying to move towards or their goal, they don't have a clear vision. It's not crystallized vision of exactly what the steps are to get to the goal. And you can just feel like stuck. So unstructured. I think that's literally what I just said, is that you can't see the actual steps. I feel like these are just answers that are a little bit kind of overlapping each other. Not intrinsically rewarding. You don't, oh, wow, that's great, isn't it? Wow. Well, you can still hear me at least. So now we're going to get the camera to go back live and try and figure out why it stopped being live. But for now, boom, let's put you back on. All right, that's this week. And that's this week for you. And lacking in personal meaning. Okay, so look, these are the official, I'm giving you the official, like this is from science, but I'm going to talk about what my personal experience in helping hundreds of people, what I'm going to give you my perspective. But boring, frustrating, difficult, ambiguous, unstructured, not intrinsically rewarding, which means you don't find the process fun, lacking in personal meaning. So you're not connected. It's not fulfilling. So on a neurological level, procrastination is not the slightest bit logical. It's a result of an emotional part of your brain, your limbic system, strong arming the reasonable, rational part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex. The logical part of your brain surrenders the moment you choose Facebook over work or decide to binge another episode of House of Cards when you get home. I don't binge House of Cards. Maybe it's Squid Game. Okay, or bling empire. So okay, what's this all mean? All right, motivation. So if you are motivated, in order to even be motivated towards a goal, I keep looking down every now and then because nobody's live in the studio with me, so I need to make sure that I see if any kind of comments come up. So definitely please stay involved, motivated. So while I'm talking right now, I would love for you to type out for me, what do you feel would keep you most motivated towards a goal? If something was difficult, if it started to become challenging and you weren't quite sure of the steps, I think that's kind of like just an obvious thing. I don't really feel that that's something that should be overly stopping you, because as we talked last week about resources, being stuck just means that you haven't put enough effort into asking for help and asking for resources on how to be unstuck, what the clarity of the steps are towards your goal. I think the major source of motivation really is intrinsic. Like, why are you actually doing it? Do you even want the outcome of that goal? So if your parents, I used this example last week, but just to bring it back up again, if your parents, if you come from a culture where your parents need or want for you to be a lawyer, doctor, something of a high status, and that's put upon you from a social status perspective or from like a cultural status, social status, same thing, but culturally connecting you into the culture. Oh, here we don't act like that. Here we act like this. So that's more cultural. And then social status is more like, well, what will the neighbors think of us? Or, it's going to be a lot harder for people to want to be around us if they feel like your job isn't quite good enough for you. They're going to think that we're a failure of parents if, you've decided to be a janitor. So, or you've decided to be to just travel the world and live off the land and have no job at all. So if your goal, if the reason why you've taken up a job or gone to school to study something is because of a goal that your parents have put upon you, that is something that is not intrinsically rewarding for you. That is something that is extrinsic. So it's the love of your parents or the support of your parents, or the acceptance of your parents, which is what ultimately makes you feel that you are wanted and valuable and have a reason for being in the world. That's an external reason. Okay, reward. It's an external reward. It's their pride, their love. But internally, it may not align with the kind of person that you are. So if you were really born and you're wired to be a visual processing, visual artist, and you're not a verbally wired person, so you don't do well with words or memorizing words or reading long like strings of text or reciting them, then it's going to be really difficult for you to become a doctor because it's so auditory, geared towards auditory memory and processing. But if you're strongly visual, maybe something that like architect or something where the end result of what you're doing that's being visual, that's going to be more intrinsically aligned to the way you're wired. And so that's going to feel more rewarding. You might because you're visually centered, you might want to be more like a fashion designer or a graphic designer or somebody that deals with things that are more interior decorating. So if your parents are pushing you towards, and I'm referring to like a stereotypical kind of like you need to be a doctor or a lawyer or something, working with like an investor. These are things that are numbers and words and require that type of memory and that type of processing. And that is very much so an auditory processing type. There's auditory, visual, and kinesthetic. So kinesthetic processor, sorry if I tap the mic, there's a microphone right there. There it is. And so I just tapped it. So if you are, hey Jen, hey Jennifer, thanks for, wow, that's awesome, Jen, that you're in. So if you are a visual, I gave some examples of that already. And if you're a kinesthetic person, you're the kind of person that will learn from doing. So you're going to be a hands-on kind of person. So a person who feels very aligned with or fulfilled by things that are kinesthetic are going to be construction, like builders, woodworkers, sculptors, maybe again like a fashion designer or somebody who's doing decorating, where they're hands-on. They're actually placing objects. They're seeing spatial relationships and how the body moves or is affected by the placement of things. But a kinesthetic type, to be more true to the kinesthetic type, they're more caregivers. So that would be more like somebody who ends up being more like a nurse, where the physical connection and the seeing that a person feels happy or feels healthy is something that to a kinesthetic type is more feeling. So the kinesthetic types are dancers. They are the movers, the dancers. And a kinesthetic type, you'll know that you're a kinesthetic type while you're watching this live broadcast, because the more I talk, the more this starts to happen. And you're going to get fidgety if you don't move while you're trying to process a bunch of words, which are auditory type. Also, if you're a kinesthetic type or visual type, as I'm explaining things, if I don't type them on the screen, it'll be a harder time for you to remember what I'm saying. Okay, so these are 3 processing types, and I feel that they are directly related to your motivation towards your goal. And I'm going to pause. So this is a live broadcast, and I have interactive. So I'm going to hide that ticker now that everybody knows what we're talking about. And I'm going to put up something different. Okay, so you will be aligned to a goal that matches, okay, your type. And I'm just going to put colon. So visual, auditory, which is words. Okay, words and numbers. And putting this up for the visual people like me, because I'm visual and I'm going to have trouble remembering everything I'm saying. So I'm putting this up. We're auditory and kinesthetic. All right. And those are the dancers and movers. Dancers, movers. Okay. Put that up on the screen. This is the beauty of using this software. And I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to hit show. Hey, that's awesome, isn't it? Okay, so that's what I just finished saying. Now, the other thing I'm going to type in here while that's showing is, okay, an internal alignment, which is fulfillment. Okay, so that's called intrinsic. So intrinsic reward versus extrinsic. Save on that. I'm going to show that now. So this will feel more rewarding or more fulfilling if the goal that you're moving towards matches who you are as a person, or there's personality type, and then there's also process. These are processing types on the screen right now. So you will find it challenging. It will be frustrating. It will be difficult, which according to the studies is a major chunk of why people lose motivation, because while they're going along, it's not just easy peasy and flowing along internally in the way that they are processing that data. So these are processing types. And if you need to be something on this list that is not the way that you are naturally wired, you're just going to be frustrated. What do you do about that? Well, first and foremost, you have to become aware. Okay. And we'll talk about that next. Okay. Well, we'll talk about what to do if you're losing motivation because something here is somehow making you lose motivation based on not being aligned to who you are internally, because that's going to make the reward feel not very fulfilling. It's also going to make it very challenging. Now, if your reward is an extrinsic reward, that means you're doing it because you want to gain physical objects or because you want the love of your family or the world at large, like fame or money. Okay. So soft and hard. Now, if you are motivated by extrinsic reward, and you do not see that coming to you, if you need celebration for something that you just done, that you've just achieved, and you put that out there, like I don't know, I was going to say a painting. You put a painting out there, or some new video post, and or a design, or whatever the case may be. And if you're actually doing it for an extrinsic reward, then you're going to need for somebody to say to you, I like that. Good job. Wow, you really went through a lot. These are different kinds of celebrating, by the way. I really see that you worked really hard, and I really honor that you put a lot of effort into it. Like, I'm really proud of you. These are the kinds of things that you're going to need to hear as an extrinsic reward. And if you don't get those all along the way towards your goal, you're going to lose motivation. Because if you're not getting them along the way at your milestones or at your steps towards the goal, then if the end goal was to get this kind of reward or celebration or acknowledgement or being seen for who you are while you're putting this out, if you're not getting it along the way, you might start to think that you're not going to get it at the end. And so you'll just give up on that goal. And so you'll lose motivation because you're not being fed that energy along the way. Okay, intrinsic reward, boop, right there. Okay. So look at that depth of field. We were playing with that earlier. Okay, so intrinsic. If you're doing it for an internal alignment, intrinsic reward is like, this just literally makes you feel good doing it. So a person who is, I get this a lot with people that are the kinesthetic type. Okay, so kinesthetic type, let's put those back up again. Those are like the dancers and movers, but those are also the people that are like the feelers. So they are like, they like the experience of a room. So if you go to a restaurant and the lighting affects you and the mood of the people that are around you affects you, or just like the general like vibe of the place, like is it kind of like an upbeat place or is it really mellow? These are kinesthetic types. So the actual kind of physical or energetic experience of a room, that's kinesthetic. So for those, that is very much an intrinsic reward. So the experience of moving towards your goal will feel within you something that makes you feel awake, alert. It'll give you inspiration. I'm just making that comment because of something that Lydia said here. And so Lydia makes this comment. I get motivated by bursts of inspiration if it is really stuck in my mind and I feel like I have to do it. So say, Lydia, put up another comment about what it is really stuck in my mind means, okay? And I feel like I have to do it. I get motivated by bursts of inspiration. But what I'm wondering is what happened that gave you the burst of inspiration? Was that something happening inside of you? Because this is a comment that's kind of talking about the internal, the intrinsic motivation. So if you connect with, I'm gonna put that other, all right, we'll get that back up. If the reason for getting towards something is intrinsic, you can actually build that within yourself at any time by simply meditating, closing your eyes, getting rid of any busyness in the room around you, because those are going to make you lose motivation if they're draining. While you're working on a goal, absolutely anything that drains your energy is going to make you lose motivation. So let's finish the point about the intrinsic motivators towards something. We talked a bit about this last week, so watch that replay about, or actually no, 2 weeks ago, choosing goals. When you sit and think into the experience of achieving your goal, most people cannot actually bring upon themselves what the end experience is. You'll get this like, what would it be like if you, totally had all of these problems removed and your life was in perfect order. And it's like, I don't even know what it's like to have a life in perfect order. All I know is things being disorderly and I'm confused. And all I know is that like when I try to make things go my way, they don't go my way. So it's really hard to imagine, somebody would say, what it's like to have everything be in order, to have everybody around me being so supportive of me. It's really hard to imagine that experience. So most people are actually trying to move away from discomfort rather than towards the sensation of feeling like this is awesome. But an intrinsic kinesthetic person actually needs to know what it feels like to have the end result. Otherwise, they will just not be motivated at all. So it's very important to be around people or be in physical places, if you're a kinesthetic type, that make you feel like what life would be like if you had achieved your goal. So if you want to open up a storefront, go hang out in storefronts that are the experience of what you want to achieve. If you have no idea as a visual person what it would look like, what is the visual of what your wardrobe would look like? What would you look like? What would your house look like? Or what would your bank account physically look like? Or what would your business look like? If you're going to say looks like instead of feels like, if you're auditory, go hang out in places that look like that. Go on Pinterest or in Google Images and look for images that visually inspire you. And imagine having that. The thing that's going to, and if you're auditory, that's really like talking it out, processing it, talking to friends, talking to a coach, hearing the words. That sounds good. I really like the sound of that. That's what you're going to hear from a person who's an auditory type. They really need to talk it out and understand what the logic is and what the structure is in words, using words. Okay. So hopefully that's been clear enough. If not, let me know. I see some comments rolling in. So now, that's fun. Writing out ideas. Okay, so Lydia's got a follow up here. Writing out ideas, I get inspired by some internal feelings or intuition. So great. I just finished talking about intrinsic kinesthetic types. There's a comment right from Lydia. Okay, so Lydia, who's been like actually on screen with us last week. Shout out to Michelle Chu for this camera setup, by the way, right here, because this looks gorgeous. And I wish I could have somebody on screen with me, sharing the screen with me. But this is the new camera setup and the new lighting. And I got the new, well, this is my mic. So shout out to me for good quality audio if you can hear me well. Give me a like a yes, just type yes if you can hear me really nicely right now, because I'm really excited about this. Next week, look out for the newest upgrade of me figuring out how to remove these black bars. So we have widescreen again, because this camera only has square. Okay, so anyway, just having some fun. Great, yes. Thank Jen. Okay, let's pull that. Okay, kinesthetic. Okay, where even was I? We're just taking a little mental break, okay? Because I am a visual type, and if I can't see what I'm talking about, I start to lose track of what I'm talking about. Life of a visual person who's doing something in live streaming, looking at a black camera and having nothing to look at. All right, bear with me. Let's pull that off the screen, Lydia. I don't even know how to do that. Let's see if this resets that. Yay, great. Okay. Taking a breath. By the way, coping mechanism for you in case you start to lose sight and you start to lose, I'm not losing motivation, I'm losing focus. But focus is part of losing motivation. We'll talk about that next. Let's take a breath and just connect back into, right. So as you're moving towards an end goal, something that's going to stop you from, something that's going to make you lose motivation is losing sight of the feeling or experience of moving towards it, the visual of seeing yourself attaining it, or the understanding of talking it out with somebody and like clearly being able to bullet out a to-do list. Because visual, auditory people are very much to-do list kind of people. Okay. So Something that is going to, let's talk about the next point about losing motivation. So okay, let's talk in the terms of positive, okay? How to keep motivation. How to keep motivation. Clear vision or understanding of end goal experience. Okay? And clear steps to get there. So you need these in order to keep motivated. And I completely understand that if you're having difficulty getting a clear vision and understanding the end goal, connect with your resources, talk it out, go look it up and watch videos if you're visual, or physically go out into the world and experience things. If you can't physically travel to try and imagine what it's like to reach an end goal of traveling, for example, then again, go back to watching videos, but you have to feel the feeling in your body if you're kinesthetic type. Otherwise, you won't understand your real why. And if you don't understand your real why, which is your personal life experience, then you will not be able to clearly define a goal. So once you know what the life experience, what your personal experience is inside of you, feeling fulfilled, feeling like what you do matters, that's extrinsic. Feeling fulfilled is intrinsic, so it's aligned to who you are as a person. We talked about that. And feeling like it does matter and feeling like it is aligned with who you are, but now it has to fit. So there has to be a place where what you do that matters and makes a difference, where they want it. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So a clear vision of what that looks like. If you do not have a clear vision of that, get help. Talk to somebody. Come on one of these and ask a question, and we'll do a little live coaching, which we're going to do for the remaining 50 minutes. Then, once you have a clear vision of what you want to experience, you have to then define the difference between where you are and where you're going. And most people have the biggest difficulty even defining the goal. So the reason why they lose motivation is because the goal that they're moving towards isn't their goal. It's a goal that was put upon them by their parents or by society or by some kind of socioeconomic position. Like, well, I need to do this goal because I need to make the money to be able to survive. That's okay. But that's not an internal, that's extrinsic, and that's fine, but that's not going to keep you motivated forever. At some point, you're going to lose motivation on that. So you have to find that intrinsic. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's I can't. Those are really the things that matter the most. Okay. Then the clear steps on how to get there. How would I know the steps? If I want to be a billionaire, I have no idea what the steps are to becoming a billionaire. But at least if I know what the end goal is, and if I have inside of me the experience of what that would feel like to be a world traveler, to be self-employed, to be a mom or a dad, to get a kid, okay, and to overcome that fear of starting a family, whatever your end goal is, you have to really look at the experience that you're going to get from achieving that. And the steps to get there, your motivation now has to be towards finding the resource of somebody who's achieved those steps. Buy a book, go to a live stream, look up some videos. The steps become clear very quickly when you are very clearly connected to your goal and someone out there has achieved that goal. So they have a series of steps that worked for them. And you can translate their steps into your way of being in the world. And your steps will become clear. Okay. So if you got the steps and you got the goal, so it's clear as day, take these steps towards that. If you want to, start a family, there's certain steps on how to get there. Check your personal health, really connect into who your partner is, get stability in your home, whatever those resources are that you need. Make sure that you have family support, whatever you need to have a kid. I'm just picking that one right now because I can't have live today this week. I can't seem to have live contact. Then if you start moving along those steps and you start to become frustrated or annoyed along the way, we have to take a look at the amount of resources that you actually have, internal resources that you have to stay motivated. So something that really stops a person from staying motivated is that they don't have, okay, so in order to stay motivated, you require, okay, I'm going to put like coaching / support, which means somebody that does know the steps and keeps you on those steps, accountability, they keep you accountable. So you need to have that along your way. You also need to have micro rewards. You need to be rewarded every day, if not multiple times a day. Super important. You have to have smaller steps and feel rewarded for each and every one of those steps. That will keep you motivated. If you go too long before you get rewarded, you're going to lose momentum. You're going to lose energy. It's going to start to feel like it's not rewarding. It's not going to get hard. The steps are very easy, but you will lose connection to the real reason why you're doing it, which is feeling rewarding, feeling fulfilled. So you need to make it micro steps. Okay. Coaching and support. So clarity and accountability. And then micro rewards, keeping you motivated by keeping your energy up along the way. And a sense of freedom. Post that up. You will stay motivated on a goal if you feel like it's your choice. This one's not even on the list. Like I'm going by, like this is scientifically proven by a doctor. Unstructured, non-intrinsically rewarding, lacking in personal meaning. But you know what's not here is freedom. I think, personally, from experience, if a person feels pressure to achieve their goal, and anybody that's at a workplace that's in a large corporate structure where, or a salesperson that has to achieve a goal on a deadline, I got Jen, yeah, thanks, Jen. People who have to reach a deadline, who have to make somebody else happy by achieving a particular goal, it's the pressure of achieving that is not freedom. That is now like must. It's pressure, okay? So that's performance anxiety. And the fear of not doing it on time or properly is going to create pain or punishment, which is pain, discomfort, pain. It's all pain. And we're going to lose motivation along the way if we start to believe that we're going to not achieve the goal, which means we don't have the freedom to change the goal along the way. We don't have the freedom to adjust the goal based on new information that came along the way. We don't have the freedom to adjust the goal based on life events. Holy crap, we all know what that's like right now. How many people are not achieving their goals this year? Bump it the next year. But if you don't have that freedom, oh my God, with the whole camera thing. Okay, we'll figure this out later. All right. Apparently, there's a timer on this particular camera for that, how long we can be live for. It's okay. We're cool. Audio is a separate thing, so you can hear me the whole time. The freedom to be able to choose your goal, we definitely don't all have that, but we have to feel like there is an amount of freedom along the way, and in order to stay motivated. So I just want to point out there that we talked about this last week about needs versus wants. Okay? So if you keep telling yourself that you need to achieve something, you're actually just putting pressure upon yourself. And we have to take a look at how, do I really even, why am I doing this? Oh, because somebody, I need to make my parents happy. I need to my family really needs to be fed. Yeah, okay, we do need to be fed, but that's a lot of pressure suddenly just by saying like that. And let's be clear here. Do I have the freedom to not make money and not feed my family and let them starve and die? Do I actually have the freedom? Let's be really clear about this because it changes your internal process. Yes, I do actually have the freedom to say, I can't do it. I failed. You know what? Go out into the world. You're free to go get your money and your food somewhere else. Get another parent if you have to. But we don't want that. So do I want to work hard? Do I want to be a success at this? Do I want to feel proud of myself, whether or not they are? Do I want to overcome these challenges? Because that's rewarding to me. Because I technically don't need to. That's now more like a mental freedom. Does that make sense? Okay, let's just pause on that because I want to be able to take some questions. And there's Jen saying that she loves the freedom of her work. How many people would refer to work as freedom, right? So the freedom part of the work, or the freedom in the different ways that her work gives her. I know Jen, and Jen's a fantastic person, one of my favorite people in the world. Love you, Jen. And it's all about your internal process of how you're perceiving the end goal, because that's going to change your motivation to stay on it. Okay, let's take some questions now. Okay, let's do some live QA because I might come up with some more talking points based on what you guys ask. And I'm just going to show this from last week because our ultimate goal is actually be connected to our true selves, who we are inside, because that's actually what we want. And that's actually kind of also a little bit on the realm of what we need. Because if we're not connected, if we're not aligned to who we really are, we're just automatically going to lose life force. We're going to cut off our connection and our flow of inspiration. If we're not true to who we really are, we really can't achieve anything. We can force ourselves to achieve many things, but in the long run, it's not sustainable. Or at the end of it all, we'll be on the deathbed and go, why did I do that? It felt like I was being rewarded. It felt like I was really achieving stuff. But now that I'm close to death, I realize I didn't really do what I actually wanted to do. Number one regret on the deathbed is the chances I didn't take. Okay, number one regret is all of the things that I was curious about and that I wanted to try, but I was too scared to try. And so I just stuck with being safe, or just stuck with what I thought like I needed to do and not what I wanted to do. Number one regret on a deathbed is all of the what ifs. What if? Okay, so there's a saying. I'm going to type it up. No, I'm not going to type this up because I don't want you to ingrain this. Okay, so there is a belief, a general belief that's like, I would rather have a life of oh wells than a life of what ifs. You know what? I'm going to put that up. And everybody start asking some questions if you want me to answer your question directly right now. Otherwise, I'm going to keep chat. Okay, hide that. I would rather have I didn't make this up, by the way, life of oh well and what ifs. I think something like that. In the end of it all, a thing that really makes us, I kind of said it a bit, we're going to just say it like one more time really quickly. The thing that really makes us lose motivation is fear of pain. Let's be direct. I like just knocking things right in the bullseye, just pushing that button. Ultimately, the thing that's going to drive you towards staying motivated is that you feel fulfilled and aligned with the experience of the goal. And the thing that's going to make you feel unmotivated is the pain of struggling while you're going through it, or the pain of failing. So it's a new point I'm saying. The pain of failing in the end. That's going to make you lose motivation if you get closer and closer and closer towards a goal, and you start to fear and fear and fear more the pain of failing. But the only way we can actually fail is if we don't have the freedom to change the goal along the way. Because the thing is, we become, the goal that we make when we are 12 is not going to be the goal that we want when we're 22 or 32. I don't know why I'm on twos right now, but 42, whatever the case may be. So how can you possibly keep a goal all the way through to completion if the goal is a long-term goal and you grow and change as a person? So that's something to keep in mind, is that alignment to who you really are. But if you're scared of failing on that goal along the way, give yourself that freedom to adjust along the way, get feedback from a coach or a friend, or somebody who's been there already, just a person who has success. And really ask yourself, at the end of it all, would I rather have a life of, oh, well, that didn't work out? Or would I rather have a life of, oh man, what if I just stuck with it? Or what if I quit that goal and just made a new goal, pivot? What if I pivoted along the way instead of stuck with it, thinking I had to achieve that goal? What if I didn't have to? What if I really didn't need to achieve that? What if along the way, I felt pulled and called to be more aligned to who I was, and I quit and I moved and I sold everything and took off and I lived a life of like, what if I could have everything that I deserve? What if I could not be scared of failing, but just love the experience of trying? What would that life feel like? That feels a lot more motivating. That's awesome. Thanks a lot. Lydia's just making a quick comment about saying thanks for some great suggestions. She's going to reach out for getting some guidance and some help. So thank you very much, Lydia. Okay. Any other comments? I'm opening, because this is a live broadcast, and technically this is, I'm sharing this live as a live stream because I want for people to be able to in real time ask questions, and I can give you some live real coaching. Otherwise, this would be a pre-recorded video about motivation and I would just post it up. But I really want to be able to help you in real time and come back every week and keep asking questions so that I can give you some free coaching and some free guidance on that week's particular topic. Okay. So anybody feel like they want some clarity or some help from me, throw out some questions. And in the meantime, while I'm waiting for some questions to come in, and if you just have some comments, what am I saying or what are you hearing that's helping you? Make some comments or give me some feedback about if this shifting for you, where you have been losing motivation, or how to get more of it. So something about another thing about motivation. Okay, so let's until somebody says anything, I'm going to go on to the next point because I have an infinite number of points. Sustainable resources. Along your way to a goal, if you are motivated, if you have all the support that you need, if you're not scared of failing, but you're just loving trying it, if it's difficult, but you reach out and get support so that you have a better, so you get taught what those steps are and you get guided along the way. We still have to look at what your resources are. So sometimes what makes us lose motivation, this is a big one for me, is if I feel like I want to reach a goal within a certain amount of time. I wanted to be doing literally what we're doing right now. I wanted this to be happening a whole year ago. Some comments are coming through, so I'm going to let them roll in because you got to remember we're in. You're 15 seconds behind, so I'm talking, waiting for comments to come in from 15 seconds ago in my time. So I'm just going to chat a little bit while these comments are coming in. If I feel like I really want to achieve a goal in, let's say, 30 days, and I actually set 30 days as a goal to be doing what we're doing right now, and at some point I was like, this is just getting to like months are going by, and I'm thinking, you know, what I'm going to put up is really just not good enough for what I'm capable of, or maybe I just don't have the quality technology, or whatever the case may be. I'm missing some resources. But in order to get to the goal, I either have to accept and do the best I can with what I got right there to meet that goal, or I have to find a resource stream, a stream of resources that is sustainable, that can allow me to go and extend out details of my goal. So if I know that I want to achieve something by a certain date, then I have to cut out quality or whatever, you know. I'm saying quality, but it's like, it's not going to be, it's about the time, not the vision of what it could be. If I had a definite goal, something would have been live a year ago. But I had a vision of putting out real-time quality content that I would be capable, it had to look good and sound good, but I would be capable of answering any question that came at me in real time live. And I wanted to increase my quality of service before I put this out live. And that's what I did. I put a lot of money, thousands of dollars, and way more training and more certifications to be very sure that I could help you. And so I needed to have the sustainable resources to be able to extend out my goal. I had to have that freedom. So I pivoted and got a resource stream that allowed me to continue working on my vision of what I wanted to put out. So a major thing for achieving a goal and staying motivated is having good food and people supporting you along the way and saying, it's okay, you're going to be okay, and having the money that you need to keep extending out that goal. So just remember that to stay motivated, having sustainable resources that can keep you going in real time every single week. Every week you have to take a look at your resources and ask yourself, how long can I go before I have to just cut this off? And that's the best I got at that time, because you got to get started somewhere. This, by the way, is actually in the study. Okay. A way of overcoming losing motivation. Okay. A way of overcoming a lack of motivation is, I'm going to put this in capital letters. Start where you are. Okay. Do not wait for the world to be perfect before you take the next step. You don't have to know the end. You have to have freedom to be flexible. You don't have to know where your resources are coming from. That's got to be flexible too. You just have to have a very clear vision, or a very clear sense for your kinesthetic type, or a very clear structure for you auditory types of what you want to experience at the end. So that is your what. And you need to, the what is the vision, and the why is your experience of it. When you have a why and a what, so your alignment, your connection to who you are, and your self-esteem and your self-love is your why, and also impact, helping the world, which still is for you to make you feel good about yourself. That's your why. And the what is some kind of clear vision. I want to be, a painter or an architect, or whatever the case may be. So that's your what and your why. But the how, the steps to get there, you absolutely do not need to know. Just start where you are, take one step. You literally just need to take one step. The thing that really stops people from being motivated, what kills motivation, is just like, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. Screw the how, F the how. We just need to know what is the very next step to figuring out how. Google it, ask somebody, just take one step. Start what you are. and take one step forward. That's it. Okay, I'm going to go read those comments. All one of them. So I'm going to post some stuff up, just what some people are saying. This is why, by the way, I'm using StreamYard, is because we can have this interaction. If for some reason a glitch happens and I can't have you live with me, at least I can read these out to you. Okay. This is always what happened to me at work, where my manager was micromanaging us. So I'm going to assume that Miriam is talking about having too much structure and being too micromanaged and not having the freedom to be creative, and you start to lose motivation because it's not inspiring or it just doesn't really align with who you are. I'm assuming, Miriam, you're a very creative and very empowered person naturally, and having structure put upon you is crushes your motivation because it's not aligned to who you really are. And so it feels like that's just kind of a confirmation comment from Miriam. Lydia, I think I am feeling less afraid of committing to following through. I feel like I could create a business which doesn't take too much out of me. And that sounds like you're receiving something out of our little chat today. And Lydia, congratulations to Lydia and to Miriam for being here every week from day one. Yeah, absolutely. By receiving this this information, by understanding that there are people like me out there that have been through many, many things, and I have a very, very clear vision of the steps to get to many different places that you want to go, or how to get the resources to get there. It starts to make you feel like it's possible. Like the things that I was scared of breaking me along the way, I'm starting to realize I don't have to be so scared, because there really are people out there that know how to avoid the thing I'm scared of happening to me. There are people out there that can help me if I start to feel pain or feeling discomfort along the way. I have resources along the way. I keep hitting this mic along the way that are going to stop me from having to worry about pain and suffering, because I'm going to be able to deal with it every day. Every day, review. Every day, look back at that day and say, did I get a step closer to where I want to go? Or did I stay stuck? That's still not a problem. Or did I reverse? Reversing, bit of an issue. Stuck for a day, not totally a problem. But day two, start getting help. Miriam, Peter, what if our external pressure takes us out of the track constantly? Yes, okay. I mean, what if our financial or emotional balance stresses us to the point that we cannot keep our focus? Okay, I'm going to meditate on this for a little bit. True story. What if? Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. Okay, so let's just say you know what your track is. You feel like you have the ability to move along that track. You have a clear vision, and the resources along the way, let's say you're streaming those, okay? So external pressure comes in, and let's say you have money set aside, but things keep breaking. Car breaks down, people start putting pressure on you, saying it's not fast enough or good enough. But let's say things start eating up your resources and they're putting pressure on you. So if you know that a goal takes 3 months and financial pressure makes you have to do it in 1 month, okay, then emotional balance, financial strains, emotional balance. So what you have to do is you have to start looking at micro goals. First of all, you have to look at, now the goal becomes a goal of getting the freedom or the resource that you need to reach the full goal. So what's very important here is having clarity over the individual steps and the resources needed for each of those steps to get to your goal. And then as you look at the step that you need to achieve to get to your goal, because sometimes we can't achieve a goal that we want. It's possible. Sometimes we just can't achieve a goal that we really want, and we just have to pick another goal that still fulfills us. This is very important. Sometimes goals aren't achievable. And a clear example of this is when two people say they want to be the winner of a marathon. It doesn't matter how much you train. It doesn't matter how great you are. Only one person can win that marathon. So, I mean, it's you go for it and you just got to hope for the best. So sometimes it's really just the feeling of achieving the goals along the way to know that you could win it. And some things just happen and you go, well, not this time. We'll try again next time. Okay. And you just keep going. So something like that is like, I'm still going to reach my goal of winning the marathon. I just can't win it every single time. So I'm just going to keep going until I do. Don't let losing break you down. So it's possible that you might feel like this is the month, like me thinking I'm going to go live like literally 12 months ago. And I was like, well, this isn't the month I'm going to make it happen. I got to take care of other things. So I got to say, you know what? I'm still one step closer to my overall goal, but I have to extend out my vision because there's too many roadblocks coming in the way. I got to go work on my emotional problems first. Because in order for me to achieve, so what this tells me, Marianne, is that you actually have a grand vision that requires you to be very elite in your version, your highest version of yourself. And so the things that are coming up, literally the whole beginning of this live broadcast was me trying to overcome technical problems that kept coming up in the way. And which is why we're going to go like 10 minutes over because it started 10 minutes late. It's me saying, you know what, like these things that are coming up are showing me personally. So just go back to listening to the beginning of this entire thing today's entire thing. The pressure that's coming to me is showing me where I need to improve myself. I'm repeating what I said at the beginning, where I need to improve myself to the point where I am either not around those pressures anymore. I've removed myself. So I've gotten the freedom and the empowerment to remove myself from those pressures, number one. Number two, I have grown to a point where I realize those are actually not pressures at all. It's me sidetracking my own self. It's me realizing, the third one is, it's me realizing I am focused and they really are pressures that I can't really get out of. So I just need to understand, how do I need to adjust my focus on my goal? So maybe I have to be more flexible with timing, or maybe I have to be more flexible with my initial budget or my initial launch date. And I have to make now more micro goals. So I have to make a goal that might be get myself financially stable, emotionally stable, and emotionally and physically supported enough. That's literally just goal number one. And I need to achieve that to get to my absolute grandest goal. Well, that now becomes goal number one. And that goal now has its own steps. So where we're looking at this being like, oh, these are all roadblocks to me being able to achieve this grand goal. Yeah, but it's really great that we have those right now, because once we overcome those as goal number one, we can actually now speed up how quickly we can get to the grand goal. So that might be a blessing in disguise to say, well, if I really look at my emotional issues, or why am I even letting this stuff bother me? That's an internal process. As we work on those internally, we will, if we didn't have, I'm going to say this differently. If we didn't have these pressures, if we didn't have these roadblocks, now we might come up with those right before we go and launch our big brand or we could literally be standing in our store and be ready to open it up to the public at large and suddenly have a mental breakdown that we don't really even know if we can handle that. Better to know that limitation in us right now at the beginning, rather than at the end, right before we're about to launch. This, by the way, happens to tons of people. I'm going to remove that now. This happens to a ton of people where they They want to go live on video, and they envision themselves going live on video. They love the feeling going live on video, and they like watch other people going live on video. They pay for coaching going live on video, and then they like get camera and mic and lighting and all this stuff, and they go live on video, and literally at the moment where they're live, they're doing great, and then people show up and start making comments, and they're like, I'm a nervous wreck. I don't know if I can handle this. Should have known that emotional issue way before you got to this point of being right at the point of your launching your goal. Should have known that at the beginning. So we need micro goals to say, how do we beta test this? How do I put myself, how do I test myself to know where I'm going to break down, or where my resources really aren't as sustainable as I think? I need to beta test this. And we do that at the beginning, so that when our goal, she's saying thank you, so that means I'm now repeating myself too much. So she said, I got it, Peter. Okay. I'm saying that, she's not saying that. Okay, point is made, so I guess I can cut myself off now that I see a thank you. But yeah, I'm cutting myself off. I don't need to go more. Okay. Because I saw external validation. That's external validation. All right. Any other comments? Because we're going to probably just cut this off. Great. I'm glad you are. Any other comments from anyone else? Now, in the live replay, I invite you to, I hate looking away, but I have to do this in order to get this done. Yeah, I'm going to make that one last point. Okay, one last point. By the way, I'm just reading it off the study over here, okay? We must love being in the state now that achieving the goal will bring you. Okay, I'm going to edit that one. Boop, 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 boop. Just this last point, which is just summing up everything I just talked about. And the funny thing is, I love doing this. I'm just spitting out what I just know, and from helping many people over years. And then I literally look down to reference the study that I didn't read through. I didn't even read through before this. And I'm scrolling down on this study, and it's literally the last point is this: resilience. And it's something that keeps us, that stops us from being motivated is just because we haven't been battle tested. So I'm not going to repeat everything I just said, but I do want to actually at least give myself some credit. I'm going to pat myself on the back here for talking all that last 10 minutes about resilience and staying focused as a way of testing ourselves now before it becomes, I want to use the word the impact. So the amount of impact that we're going to make at the point where we fully launch something is a major impact. And that's a lot of pressure, but it's also a massive reward. It's really a really big why of why we're doing something, is because we want to make a difference in the world. That means that we matter. Okay, that's part of the we matter goal. Because there's only so many root goals. Okay, we need to fit. We need to feel like we're good enough. We need to matter. Okay, and we need to be. It needs to make us know ourselves really well. So when we're making a really big impact, when we really matter, that's a lot of pressure, but it's a massive reward. So we need to build resilience at making small impacts and letting that fail or letting that succeed, whatever the case may be, until we don't really worry about it anymore. Then we go make a bigger impact, and we get over the fear of that working or not working, until we build up the resilience of knowing that failure doesn't actually exist. Really, it's more like learning exists. So obviously, we all know this. There we go again. Last time. That there's no such thing as failures. Only there's no such things as mistakes. Only lessons, right? So as far as I'm concerned, there really are mistakes. I don't like that saying. You really can make a mistake. So sometimes you got to bite your tongue. But there's no such thing as a failure. There's only lessons. Because you can make a mistake in that you know better and you really shouldn't, and you go and do it anyway. And that's not really a lesson, because you already knew. That's a lack of resilience. So that is not a mistake. I would call that feeling like just not managing your resources. Really being grounded, clear, fed, awake, alert, whatever the case may be, but having the resources you need before you take an action. And if you have all of the resources that you need and you go and take an action and it doesn't go the way you expected it to, that's actually okay. Build resilience, because it's not all about you. You're going to put something out that's absolutely flawless. I mean, you love it. You're connected to it. You feel amazing. You put it out and it might not fit to the people that you're putting it out to. So that might sound like a failure, or they might call it a failure on paper, but it's a wild success in you. It just didn't get put in the right place. So it's not like, don't quit, just friggin' start it again, but put it somewhere else. Okay? Because like, I don't know, maybe you're going to go and try and sell ice cream in the Antarctic thinking it's a great idea, and maybe it is a great idea. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't mean you have a bad product or timing or whatever. It just might be it doesn't fit there. And then you go and launch it somewhere else and it sells like hotcakes, okay? And I've been through this with some of my businesses, and I've learned like you could literally just put out a product on friggin' Facebook and have it fail, and put it on Instagram and you're a millionaire. It's as simple as that sometimes. Got to know your audience. So resilience means you got to really feel connected and motivated, and don't lose motivation on thinking that the launch didn't go great or whatever. It just means there's something to be tweaked, and just do it again. Okay. I think that's great. We said a lot of stuff. I appreciate everyone for being here. It really makes a difference for me because it makes me feel connected and supported. And that's a major motivation for me. I would, of course, do this without anybody here, but I would not be motivated to do it live. I'd rather do it not live if you weren't here, and edit it and make myself sound good and look good, and not have the camera turn off every literal 20 minutes or have these black bars. Like, I am proving that I am starting where I am. 2 lives ago, I wonder if I can actually do this. Can I no, share? Oh my God, my actual screen share is off. Ooh, I just realized that's what that share means. I can't even share with you videos that I have actually put in. Holy crap. Wow, this is, okay. So I'm showing you right now that I ran this without the ability to share my screen and show some other videos. I ran this without, I literally have black bars above and below me, black bars to the left and the right of me. These black bars were actually gone. If you look at the replay, they're not there at the beginning of this video, but when the camera turned off, they turned back on again. Like, whatever, two sessions ago, it looked like gray and crappy. One last week, oh my God, 2 weeks ago, it took me 20 minutes to even start the thing. You have to like cut 20 minutes in. That last week, it just looked faded and I wasn't happy with the sound. I don't care. Because at the end of the day, this is what you have to remember. The real why. The details are not your why. It was the experience. And we together had the experience of me sharing information and it helping you and it making a difference. And the fact that I started where I was and I took the next step and got it out there made a difference. And we were connected. And I did what I could with what I had. Provide some thanks. Yeah. There's. I'm so nicely framed. The funny thing is that black bar that's not supposed to be there actually holds the logo. So that's kind of, I wouldn't have thought of that. Anyway, thanks, Marion. And it's just, this is resilience. Okay. This is me showing you that I'm building resilience, that I'm just showing up every week. And I don't care if the camera turns off and I don't care if nobody shows up. That's just me showing my level of commitment. And it's also kind of showing me what is motivating to me. And at the end of the day, it's showing me that I'm actually motivated by you saying that I'm helping you. That's really the motivation. So you showing up, I don't care what this looks like. I don't care if the screen goes black. I don't care if the technology doesn't work. The fact that you are saying that, thank you so much. Okay. Thank you so very much. That's making a difference. So thank you all. I appreciate this all very much. This makes me better and it makes everything I'm offering better. So blessings to you all. We're going to call it a good night and have a great week. We'll see you next Wednesday at 6:30 again. Oh. I'm going to do some ads now. So I do have a website up, peterarcari.com. I don't have that typed out here. I am updating it. So I'm just putting that out there. It's literally just my name.com. Okay. And I am going to update it because I have some old services on there. But you're welcome to go to it. I'm putting that up now for people that might be watching the replay, like, who knows, a couple of weeks from now, and maybe I'll have my website updated by then. You don't have to go to it right now, but it is there for future prosperity. And what else? Definitely reach out if you want to book a call. If not, no problem. Show up, ask a question live. Great, works too. But please, for anybody watching the replay, leave comments about what, and I might be able to answer your questions like later on after the live and still be able to get you some questions answered. So please definitely still post the comments. It won't be in the live broadcast, but I might be still be able to help you. Also, I'd love to hear from you feedback on what kinds of topics would be helpful for you to have live coaching on the Wednesday nights. And we'll put that up on the screen and be able to answer your questions live as well. Okay. And that will help everyone else that has the same situation as you. Just gonna look. Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. And all right. Okay. Bless you all.